Our children are facing a world that has never been before like it is now. And we need new tools and new ways of being with each other. We can't just worry about, is the church going to survive? We have to worry about, is the planet going to survive? Are our children going to have a future?
Village, peace, village, peace, village, peace, village, peace, village, peace, village, peace, village.
I don't think we can imagine a world peace without finding ways for our religious traditions to be able to appreciate one another.
Peace Village was an amazing experience for me and my family.
Our youth are growing up in a more global environment. They have access to different ideas in different cultures.
You are the one who's going to take the children to the next level and make them participate in a bigger way and make them love each other, and that will stand for many generations to come, what you will do.
Peace Village is an interfaith peace education summer day camp for kids ages 7 to 13 with teen and young adult counselors, youth group leaders who are really the core of the leadership of the program during the week. My name is Bonnie Rambob, and when Peace Village began, I was interning at the Congregational Church of San Mateo as a seminarian.
When Bonnie told me what it would be like to have a collaborative experience between Jews and Muslims and Christians, and for us here to hold that, not to run it, but to hold it, I thought it was the greatest thing that we could do.
First of all, we had to decide what other faith partners were going to be a part of this with us. We have a Muslim children's garden school right here in our same building. So we asked Abir and Maha if they would be interested also in partnering and joining us.
She presented the idea, and actually I was really thrilled because I think that's what I am for. I am for teaching our kids to be in peace.
We wanted Peace Village to be a collaboration, not something that the Congregational Church of San Mateo was doing for the community, but something that the Congregational Church of San Mateo and a Jewish community and a Muslim community would be creating together, like totally from the ground up.
It takes a lot of courage. Not all the faith traditions think about peace in the same way. So the collaborators really had to work on what that means.
We started with the feeling inside and the belief, the respect has to be there.
Oh, say shalom.
What would it look like if our kids were together in the same space, fully rooted in their own faith traditions and their own faith identities, and together they learned about peacemaking?
Working literally on every word of the mission statement. And although it may have seemed tedious at the time, I think that groundwork was very important because in terms of what we taught, we always came back to those initial goals.
We had some great ideas at the table about how we could start to approach parents.
We have a committee here, an education committee, so that's a group of parents who are very dedicated to our youth education. And I remember bringing it to them initially, and they were very supportive.
It's a peace education program, but there's also religious education that's involved as well. And we had some parents who were a little bit hesitant
They all welcomed the idea, and especially the parents of the school. They didn't mind it. They wanted to be part of it.
I knew this congregation would be not only open to Peace Village, but thoroughly get behind it. And that proved to be true in every way, whether it was their financial resources or showing up to volunteer, and being so embracing of the entire experience.
The peace education components would be peaceful conflict resolution, learning some really good and important skills in how to solve conflict without being mean or violent. You also learn about media literacy.
The media does its best at times to make everybody who's not you the other.
Because of the negative part from the media part of the media about Islam, they start to withdraw themselves from who they are and their identity.
To critically think about the images that one sees on TV or on any kind of media.
Every aspect was important and meaningful. I think probably what was most memorable for the kids and even the teenage staff as well were some of the times outside of the classroom.
The week of camp occurred at different sites. So it occurred at the church, it occurred at the synagogue. There were field trips to other religious institutions. Having that opportunity to be in the space of other faith traditions from the get-go made it engaging, I think, for the kids because they were exploring new territory.
To communicate to children that don't know about the Christian tradition, as well as to our own kids, what is most important that we want other people to know about our tradition. Wow. That was a challenge, and I've been studying theology for 30 years.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down.
And maybe more than hearing me blow the shofar or showing them the Torah, but that they played this game at the synagogue and they made friends with a kid from the mosque and a kid from the church and a kid who's Jewish.
The hands-on, interactive, really cultural kind of activities, whether that was sharing food together, singing, Israeli dancing was a favorite here.
Ask any question, you can't offend us. This is all for the sake of learning.
Peace Village happened in the month of Ramadan, the fasting month. When it's the Muslim day, everybody decided to fast half of the day and they skipped the first snack period.
When you're sitting beside someone who says, I can't have food today because in my faith tradition, this is Ramadan, and we don't eat. And it reminds us to be mindful of God, Allah. You can't manufacture that.
They got to learn more about Islam and about the traditions.
The best way to learn is learning from others. Kids, they learn from kids.
Another component of Peace Village is leadership development, because once you're a Peace Villager, you're a Peace Villager wherever you go.
One of the biggest goals was to empower these kids from the youngest age to the staff to say, you really can make a difference and do something, whether it's in your home, in your school, in the local community.
Having youth be the leaders of the program is I think, probably truly one of the biggest successes of the program.
I was a youth leader, so I helped lead the kids around, helped lead them in activities.
I did it for 2 years. The first year I was kind of nervous. I was nervous about what the other leaders were gonna think of me, what the kids were gonna think of me. I wanted to be as enthusiastic as I possibly could.
Second to last day at the camp the first year was Native American spirituality. And one of the first things I learned at school, getting my degree in music therapy, was how to lead a drum circle. And since drums are kind of a big factor in Native American spirituality, I wanted to lead a drum circle for the kids.
Seeing the teens, both leading the younger kids, but also for themselves, just interacting with each other, sharing a meal together, seeing them talk in the hallway.
People that are coming to Peace Village are pretty much peaceful. There's no judgmental things that they have against you. They don't judge. They don't take anything personal. They just are very open about learning the different religions.
Youth have this amazing potential to focus on ideals that sometimes we lose somewhere along the way to adulthood.
I feel like if people can just be patient with other people and learn about different religions, then we can definitely like solve a lot of big problems now in the world.
I'm very into international perspective, intercultural perspective, and I'm part of other international organizations. I was really drawn to this program because it's a local opportunity to kind of put that mentality to use.
We already have one of our youth leaders choose peace studies as a minor in college, and she has expressed that there's a direct link to her experience here at Peace Village.
What it really does is deepen your own faith in your own tradition.
Our kids here at the synagogue learned about Christianity, they learned about Islam, they learned about Buddhism, but they also learned about Judaism because they had to be teachers.
Whenever you explain who you are to someone else, it makes you think about it more.
By literally being in other people's houses of worship, by experiencing them as friends, that makes all the difference.
When they went to the school that year and they came home and said, Mom, I met my friend in Peace Village. And I like the phrase how they said, my friend.
Its ripples are growing. I know that our adult interfaith friendship committee, it gave them an opportunity to volunteer and be involved.
Peace Village has been a very powerful part of my life, and I continue to be amazed at the reverberations of Peace Village within me, but also in the community.
Peace Village not only allows us to teach our children, but the adults who are involved start dialogues. And once you have those relationships, it's a lot harder to start talking about us and them in a negative way.
On the chancel up front here, there were 4 Muslim women reading a book called My First Ramadan. Somebody captured that photo, and it ended up on the front page of the San Mateo Times. If you would have asked me what representation of our church would I want to be on the front page, I couldn't have imagined one better than that.
It touched my life and my kids' life and my friends' life, you know. It's one child at a time, you know. And definitely the more we do it, the more it's going to touch other people's life, definitely in the community, in all communities.
Community leaders should start peace villages across the country because there's not enough peace.
If we don't have an alternative to the religious violence and the religious conflict that we see around the world, if we can't be a strong alternative to that, then we will not have a future that our children will be able to survive in.
It's a great idea to build bridges.
Because once you put a face and a story together, then when you hear something else, you say, wait a minute, that's not my experience. And that's when fundamental and transformational change actually happens. In your corner of the world, there are many opportunities to make peace. There are relationships to build, trust to be made, and it might be in the most simple way.
And usually a smile goes a long way, you know. Our Prophet said, a smile is a sadaqah. A smile, it means is a good deed. And if you usually smile at somebody's face, you got their heart, you know.
There's this great story of a church in the Midwest somewhere. A mosque was being built, and once it was finished, it was near the neighborhood of the church. The church put out a big sign, welcome to the neighborhood.
The way to trust people is to really give them a chance.
I think you have to find the right partners. You have to find people you want to work with and who share similar values.
Who's in the neighborhood? Who might be open to working on a collaborative project like this? And who believes in children? Those are kind of the first questions to consider.
The first experience is always hard. You have to be patient. You have to be very honest and innocent with what you're doing and a good believer.
Without friendships in place, I think it would be really hard to have the kind of trusting relationship that you need to be able to work together on creating a Peace Village program.
Peace Village and things like it are the real work of spiritual communities. As we serve together, as we share meals together, as we hear each other's stories. And the greatest thing is kids are kids. Whether they're Jewish or Muslim or Christian or Buddhist, kids are kids.
It's a week, but it's really more than a week. And I know in talking to our kids who participated, they absolutely took Peace Village with them. And I know for me, I do too.
If you have the idea of starting a Peace Village, so you are doing something great for yourself, for the community, and definitely for the kids. And this is what's the main and most important thing is our kids.
We will not raise our children to kill other people's children.
Active nonviolence, as Gandhi and as Martin Luther King Jr. practiced and talked about, was a very active stance in the world. And it takes a lot of courage to be nonviolent in this world.
Gandhi says if we are to achieve a real and sustainable peace in this world, it will have to begin with children.